Even with all of the technology and research we have at our fingertips today, there are still some things in this world that scientists can't completely explain. Everything from mysterious books we can't decode to unexplainable energies flowing around our universe. There are dozens of discoveries that scientists can't explain. Number 10. The Voynich Manuscript. Human language has evolved over the years to take new forms and meanings. Records of some languages are kept intact over the years through historic preservation and are easily translatable. However, some languages are incredibly obscure and there are no clues left behind by the people who use them to help us decipher the language. One of the most well-known examples of a lost language is the Voynich Manuscript. This incomplete book was written in a language that has eluded historians for decades. The book first came into the public spotlight when Wilfrid Voynich purchased it in 1912. Radiocarbon dating of the vellum that makes up the book places its origins around the 15th century. This time frame would mean it was written during the Italian Renaissance. At first glance, the writing in this book may seem like gibberish someone has just scribbled onto the paper. However, historians have determined that the author of the book planned and organized the various sections of the manuscript with great detail. The pages are filled with passages and drawings that depict multiple items, including an illustration of a sunflower. While historians have not been able to decipher the book, many over the years have claimed they were capable of translating the text. Even in 2017, a television writer believed he had decoded the book as a form of abbreviated Latin. Historians since have disproved his claims, leaving the book surrounded in mystery once again. Number 9. Cosmic Flashes. We have probably all seen photos of the Very Large Array located in Magdalena, New Mexico. The collection of 27 different antennae all work together to collect signals that are bouncing around our solar system and record them for further analysis. One of the most common types of signals the Very Large Array picks up are extreme bursts of energy coming from other galaxies. These bursts are incredibly brief and last only a fraction of a second, but can emit the energy equivalent of roughly 500 million suns. While we know just how powerful these signals can be, scientists still do not understand what is causing these massive blasts of energy. However, in 2015, scientists recorded a powerful signal that repeated, the first signal in history to act this way. Once documented, scientists around the world started to use this repeating signal as a marker to help explain all of the previous data collected over the years. An astronomer at Cornell University believed that the signals become incredibly powerful as they pass through a plasma cloud. These clouds are scattered around the universe and act as a lens that help focus a burst of energy and amplify it, making it travel across the cosmos with ease. While this plasma lens theory helps explain most of the signals recorded, it does not explain the extreme brightness seen after the signal is observed. Number 8. The temperature of the sun. Even without knowing the exact temperature of the sun, everyone knows it is one of the hottest objects in our galaxy. However, what most people don't know is that the surface of the sun is cooler than the atmosphere of the sun. While the surface of the sun is over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 5,700 degrees Celsius, the sun's atmosphere is 300 times hotter. What has puzzled scientists from around the world is that the normal thought that the further away you get from a hot object, the cooler it should get, but this is false when it comes to the sun. In 2015, scientists believe that a recent discovery might explain the different heat within the sun. After careful research, they found that small nanoflare explosions are occurring on the sun's surface millions of times a second. Each burst has the energy of a 10 megaton hydrogen bomb. While this research somewhat explains the heating difference, it is still only the first step in a full explanation. A dedicated research team will meet every 3 years to share their new findings and slowly work towards explaining how our sun works every day. Number 7. Costa Rica stone balls. There are strange occurrences of massive stone structures that can't be easily explained all around the world. From Easter Island to Stonehenge, stone sculptures litter the world with little to no explanation of how the gigantic sculptures came to where they are. Littered on the island of Costa Rica are massive stone spheres. These stones remained hidden until the 1930s when a group of workers uncovered them while working for a fruit harvesting company. Many of the objects have very smooth surfaces and are incredibly heavy, with some weighing more than 16 tons. Scientists believe the spheres were first created around 700 CE to 1530 CE. John Hoops, an archaeologist from the University of Kansas, believes that the spheres were made by taking existing boulders and shaping them into near-perfect spherical shapes. While that might explain the process that went into making the spheres, historians still can't explain the spheres' purpose to whatever civilization that created them. Ever since the spheres were initially found in the 1930s, they have attracted a lot of public attention. Most of the spheres have been moved around the island by tourists and citizens, leaving none of the spheres in their original locations. Number 6. Galaxy Glow. Due to how vast the galaxy is, there are hundreds of spots that we have not thoroughly researched and explored. Even though we launch satellites every year, the sheer amount of data they collect is sometimes hard to accurately comb through. This leaves certain spots of the universe overlooked, and even resulted in a 2009 discovery that scientists are still trying to explain. A professor at the University of Chicago discovered a bright glow emanating from the center of our galaxy. Even though satellites scanned the center of our galaxy many times, they all seem to overlook this unique glow that was radiating a massive amount of unexplained gamma rays. Initially, the space community ignored this professor's findings and labeled him amateurish and unable to correctly understand the data he analyzed. In recent years, scientists have come up with two explanations of the strange data collected about the center of our galaxy. The first is that the initial expectations of gamma radiation released from the center of our galaxy were simply incorrect. The second explanation attributes the radiation as a result of a pulsar that is located in the center of our galaxy. Number 5. Baghdad Batteries. However, in Baghdad, a series of jars were found by an archaeologist that are believed to have been used as an early form of a battery. Believed to be over 2,200 years old, these unassuming jars have kept a lot of scientists and historians guessing about their purpose. Each jar contained copper, iron, and asphalt, which was used to seal the jar into one complete device. While the jars are estimated to be over 2,000 years old, that is only a rough estimate. All of the ingredients that form the device do not lend themselves to accurate dating, resulting in only a rough estimate of the jar's age. The Baghdad Batteries have always been a strong source of interest to the public. Even the popular show Mythbusters attempted to figure out their true purpose and the mechanics that went into these mysterious jars. As with previous scientists, the Mythbusters found that the jars worked well at electroplating, and depending on the chemicals used, the device could hold a significant charge. Number 4. Jupiter's Endless Mysteries. Ever since we pointed our crude first attempts of telescopes to the sky, Jupiter has always stood out as a point of interest for us. Between the massive red spot that has been spinning ever since we first discovered Jupiter, to the planet having the same ingredients as the Sun, scientists have always been struggling to understand the composition and nature of this mysterious planet. In 2011, NASA launched the Juno space probe from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. Many of the initial assumptions about the planet were proven false, especially the auroras in Jupiter's sky. The energy in Jupiter's atmosphere predicts that an aurora on Jupiter should be around 10 to 30 times as powerful as one on Earth. However, recorded auroras on Jupiter proved to be over 100 times stronger than the ones on Earth, creating a massive discrepancy for scientists to explain. To this day, scientists have only rough explanations of the readings, none of which are widely accepted. Number 3. Nazca Lines. While you may think the Nazca Lines are another form of crop circles, these lines were created by an ancient civilization. Thanks to the makeup of the gravel and rock in the area, these historical markers have stood the test of time and survived thousands of years of erosion. These large shapes and symbols were found carved into the ground in the Nazca Desert in Peru. While these symbols are believed to be thousands of years old, it wasn't until the mid-1900s that scientists first discovered them. A few people throughout history had referenced the lines, thinking they were trail markers. But even from a high hilltop, only a portion of these massive lines can be seen. Thanks to early flights over the area, scientists found that while some of the lines make up simple shapes, there are a handful of tracks that form to make elaborate drawings of animals. To this day, scientists have still not settled on one single reason the Nazca people created these complex shapes on the ground. One of the most apparent theories is that the Nazca people created the symbols as a way to worship their gods high above them. The only other leading theory is that the shapes were used to channel water, which was very scarce in the region. Number 2. Streaks on Mars. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding the red planet is if it has ever supported life. And while scientists are still trying to determine if water has ever existed on the planet, there is an even more mysterious occurrence on Mars. In 1970, the Viking orbiter first took photographs of strange dark markings on Mars's surface. For years, scientists believed that the marks were small avalanches that would travel down crater walls. But in 2011, new images showed that these streaks appeared in different regions of the planet and were only visible during warm periods on Mars. Scientists initially believed that the streaks come from water trails underneath the surface, but experiments have shown that the surface is not wet. In 2014, these streaks became even more interesting after a rover was tasked to further research the markings. A new analysis of the soil from where the streaks appeared shows that iron-bearing minerals are present in samples. Scientists still haven't come up with a full reason why the soil has this composition, but it may lead to a better understanding of why the streaks appear. Number 1. Tabby's star. So much of space is still a mystery to us. Having only ventured into space in recent years, there are still hundreds of mysteries out there that we can only one day hope to solve. One such mystery that has been drawing recent public interest is the curious star KIC 846-2852, or Tabby's star. This star is over 1,300 light-years away from us and is only slightly larger than our sun. What makes the star stand out in a sea of stars that fill our night sky is its strange light properties. While some stars are dimmed only a few percent by passing planets, Tabby's star can dim up to 22%. Even more unusual is that this dimming can last anywhere from a few hours to a handful of days. What is truly puzzling scientists is that the dimming of this star never occurs on a regular basis, eliminating many of the conventional explanations for why stars dim. Some scientists believe that a nearby ring planet could pass by the star occasionally, resulting in reduced light. Another popular belief among skeptics is that a Dyson sphere has been constructed around the star to harvest its energy. While this isn't backed by any real scientific proof, it does make for a great science fiction movie.